Hello, my friends. I thought it would be wise to record a series of short videos about study permits in Canada, about studying in Canada, about getting a study permit in here, about arriving to Canada, planning your future immigration, planning your career, and so on. So first things first, you have decided to study in Canada. Congratulations, of course. Now, chances are you are a fresh graduate. You do not have any academic background. This is your first post-secondary academic institution you're applying to. You do not have work experience. Feel free to skip this video and get to the next one where we would be talking about your future career. Now, if you were studying somewhere else, you have a bachelor's degree, you got master's degree from back home, you got a couple of years of work experience before you realize that you want to continue your studies and later on immigrate to Canada. Now, choosing a program of study should first be based on your background, on your work experience, on your academic background. In other words, your first job is to sit and think, how would I show to the Canadian immigration officers that my proposed study would align with my career? In other words, I will study and continue my studies in the field of my current interest, in where I'm already building my career, so that there is a high chance that after studies in Canada, I will return back home. Now, if you don't like what you're doing right now, if you don't like your career, I don't know, your parents made you study something you don't like, you went into the industry which you hate, don't be upset. It does not necessarily mean that you would have to continue that in Canada. But for the proposed study, for the academic institution, for the program, you have to align your career, right, with your proposed study in Canada. You have to tell the officers and clearly show them, hey, I got 2 years of background as a chemist. I want to study chemistry in Canada, right? Because I will return back home. That's what the Canadian officers want to see. That's what IRCC is looking for. Hey, there is a high chance that I will return back home. Because if you're saying, you know what, I got 5 years of my work experience in marketing, now I decided to study in Canada as a florist, you also attach an explanation letter to the officer saying how much you hate to be a marketing specialist and you always wanted to be a florist, that would automatically put a red flag on your applications, because what, you cut all the ties from home with your home country, right? You do not have this experience at home, so what are the odds that you will return back home, right? I mean, you're out of the labor market, you're going to study in Canada for a year or for 2 years, right? I doubt there would be a florist education for 2 years, but anyways, so you would be studying in Canada, but then why would you return back home, right? Like, I mean, you do not have any career perspectives in there if you do not continue, at least on the paper, of what you were doing before. Now, there is an option, of course, right, to come to Canada and change your study, and we'll talk about it in the future videos. But for the planning, for the very first step, you got to think strategically and think carefully of how I would show to officers that my application is connected to my home country, is connected to what I was doing back at home, because there is a good chance for me to return back home. So please approve my visa. In the next videos, we will talk about career plans, about how to align, how to think strategically about your career in Canada. But as of now, think carefully about what you're doing back home and how to show to the officers that you would continue doing that after finishing studies in Canada and potentially returning back. Stay tuned with us, and of course, subscribe for the channel.